Welcome, welcome everyone. We're gonna let some people flow in here, and then we're gonna get started. While you wait, show the stream some love. If you could just like, maybe say something in the chat real quick. Say hello. Ecal, hello. Ed, howdy to you. I agree. Let's go. Let's do it. Just saying, one lot. Hello, hello. S&P, SPX 500. I don't really have to worry about that anymore because I trade futures. But that is pretty crazy. Basile. Oh boy, let's get it going. Good morning. Good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the stream. This is going to be a good one, as always, I hope. This is not financial advice. The information on this channel is provided for education and informational purposes only without any express or implied warranty of any kind. Please feel free to pause the stream, read this. That way you know I'm not a financial advisor. This is not advice, and in fact, you shouldn't listen to a thing I say. There we go. Cool. It's been said. I'm getting rid of that. I've got my screen up there. I want to show you all some trades from today. Number one, I took a trade today on US 30 and I goofed. I made a mistake, and that's okay. I'm not too mad about it, but I will tell you, watching it go 300 pips after I got stopped out was frustrating. Not to the point of like revenge trading or anything like that, but I identified the setup. It was perfect. It was actually more than perfect, and then I pulled my stops a little too quick, and I got stopped out. At 40 pips in profit. It is what it is. It's going to happen. It's going to happen again. I'm just going to try and do a little bit better with my new trade management style. Now that I've gone to futures, I've had to adjust a little bit. So that has forced me to get better and to get better at the way that I manage my trades. So let's see here. Number one, this is the US 30, DJ 30, whatever you want to call it. This has gone 3 levels, peak formation at the beginning of the week, and they had came up into level 1 consolidation, level 2 of consolidation. I've clicked the wrong thing. Level 2 of consolidation, and then gone up into level 3. I came into today looking to sell high. I want to sell above the closing price. I want to sell at previous day's high. I want to sell above the Asian range, right? So coming into the New York session, everything was set up very well, and you can see the consolidation at the beginning of the session. They even put in this little middle structure here that allows me to draw my line. And then ultimately, whenever they go back up at 8:30 to retest this, I really just want to be getting in somewhere in here. And there's also some numbered levels that I can look at, being this one right here. This is the, I think, the 50 level. All right, let's go down to the 1-minute chart and take a look. If I can zoom out, there we go. All right, so this big spike down, this was 8:30, and this was at the 25. No, that was the 50 level. So this big spike down was not only the news, but this was also the break-in structure to the downside. Market goes up in 3 legs. Break-in structure, big burst to the high, then there's a pause, big burst to the high, and then there's a pause. And then they have a big burst to the high, and then there's a up, down, up, pin hammer. Notice the pins to the upside, and then the engulfment back down. This also triggered the previous month's high and previous day's high all in one go. My entry criteria was playing out. We're in level 3 of the day. Also, we're at the high of the month, high of the week, blah, blah, blah. Right? So those were all the things that I wanted to see. Then it's just time, level, behavior, or price. We got a time engulfment soon after this. This is the 8:30 price. We've got 3 pushes back up. I started entering in right here, and I had follow-on entries as we're falling. I was maxed out. I'm not saying full margin or anything like that, but I was as big as I possibly could, or at least safely, down through this region. And then as it started to fall away, I was feeling really good about the trade, and this candle right here made me feel really good, and I brought my stops down too tight. All right, they stopped me out by about a tick. I think I brought it down to about right here. The pin on this candle stopped me out. So it was a really silly mistake. And then I sat here and watched this do this, which kind of hurt. But you know what? Me telling you about my experience, this is still a great trade. Don't get me wrong. 40 pips is 40 pips. But for a level 3 high of month, high of week sort of trade, that was a mistake. All right. So I wanted to share that with you all so that you know if it happens to you, it happens to me too. When you get stopped out on something silly, just adjust. What I should have done in hindsight is when this level breaks right here, maybe then I should have brought stops down and maybe started locking in 25 pips boxes. Is what it is. I'm going to keep this in my back pocket for next time, and I'm going to move on with my life. All right, what did you all trade today? I saw a few things. Did anybody trade gold today? What about NASDAQ first red day? Did anybody get that US 30 third level today? What about Euro USD? Did anybody see that Euro USD trade? Because that one was pretty good as well. I'm going to talk about a few things that have happened today, but I just want to see what you all traded. Let me see what you all think. All right, so NASDAQ, 3 levels. Peak formation at the beginning of this week. This is a big W down low. Silver, good stuff. Big W at the beginning of the week after 3 levels of drop coming off of the high of last week. We are in a bit of a trading range. No big deal. They've came up, consolidated once, level 1, then came up, consolidated level 2. That literally means absolutely nothing. However, the behavior that we got over here on Wednesday was the indication. We are on the quote-unquote front side of a move. We've got 3 levels to the high of the current week. A breakout on a Wednesday that has failed after a large pumping day. This is, by textbook definition, a first red day. We have volume caught at the high of the week and a peak formation at the high of the week. So, what does that do? That tells me first red day. I want to sell high. Now, this is the end of day consolidation from yesterday, also considered maybe like the closing range of the day yesterday. Asia is on the inside. London goes to the outside and puts in a peak formation high at the high of the current day. If you actually go down to a 15-minute chart, you can kind of see where they put in peaks down low first and then came up session 1, kind of a little push up to the 2, and then kind of up to the 3. Actually, I think this might be like this. Regardless, I don't care about any of that. What I actually cared about the most was the fact that this is a double top peak formation at the high of the day. They broke down. There's the pins, and then there is the 15-minute engulfment to the downside. You got to wait after 9:30. Something really interesting to look at and kind of take note of if you come down to the 1-minute chart. How did this pull back? Pull back. What number level are we at? If you look at the 100 pip box, they are consolidating in this 25 pip box, and we've got peak 1 and peak 2, and then timing kicks in, 9:30. 9:30 right here goes down, hits the stops, gets everybody to go short, and then goes vertical in 1 candle, 2 candle, 3 candle, up, down, up, 9:30 engulfment, also neckline engulfment, then the pin hammer. This is exactly where the entry should have been taken, and that's perfect because that was about where it went vertical from there. All right, this went vertical from that point, I think 25, 50, 75, 100, 100 plus, so about 125. Did anybody catch this today? This was a really good first red day trade. I traded crude oil today. Good stuff. Let's go take a look at that. I don't remember what my... Actually, yeah, I do. Let me take a look. Okay, so in my analysis this morning, I had this as peak formation at the low of the week. We've consolidated pretty much until Wednesday, then they broke out. This is the first push outside of the opening range. This is the second push outside of the range. But I really kind of consider this the first drive. So, like, this is leg 1, and then now we're up in leg 2. All right, so I am looking personally tomorrow for leg 3, or this is the blow-off. I'm not really sure. I think this is probably 1 and then 2. And then maybe now we're up into 3. So I am going to personally be looking for a high of day sell tomorrow. Whether or not that is actually going to present, I have no idea. But we do have 1 day of breakouts, 2 days of breakouts, 3 days of breakouts, 2 days of closing basically higher, right? We've got 2 days of close higher. There's a good chance that tomorrow I come to the screen and this is set up to go long, and then I don't do anything. But me personally, having seen that this is up high, we're at the high of the current week, we have triggered, nope, don't do that, do this. Yep, this one right here. We have triggered the high of not only the previous week, but 2 weeks ago. This was an inside week, so we have triggered the high of 2 weeks ago. I am going to personally be looking to sell high tomorrow on this, and that's about it. If that doesn't present, then so be it. All right, you traded crude oil today. Hey, Sebastian, did you go long? And what was your thesis? What was your idea? Front side of the move, level 2 going to level 3, or like level 1 going to level 2? Or are you just looking for trend trades? Or did you go short? All right, so we've got 1 day breakouts, like I said, 2 days of breakouts, 3 days of breakouts. So this is going to allow me to put this on here as 3 days of breakouts. At a minimum, we also have the previous week's high triggered, which I'm going to label as well. All right. This is good. So what would I do tomorrow on this pair if I actually want to sell high? I want to sell above the closing price for today. I want to sell at previous day's high. I want to sell tomorrow after maybe 3 levels of rise. Maybe I want to sell tomorrow at previous day's high. But regardless, that is what I will personally be looking for if that presents in my session. And if I'm wrong and this just keeps going vertical, then that's cool too. All right, I'm going to put this into 3 days breakouts. And also, this is the opening range, push 1, push 2. We do have 3 drives outside of the opening range as well, which is good. That's what I like to see. We do not have a lower low back down on the inside, though, which, you know, that could be kind of an issue. We've got a higher high here, and then that would put this at pretty much the low. So if we can get a lower low tomorrow before, and then maybe like a lower low and then a pullback, that'd be good. Does anyone have trade ETFs instead of indexes? Okay, man. Hey, I personally trade futures. I don't trade Forex anymore. I wish I would have made the switch a long time ago. Futures is definitely the future. All right, NASDAQ. I know I'm still watching. I'm still looking at these pairs over here because it still works with my indicator, the 100 pip box. The system doesn't change, just the way that the platform that I'm trading on has changed. That's about it. All right, so you can kind of see my original analysis. Monday, peak formation, low of week. They went up 3 levels. Then we got a level 3 sell on Wednesday. Peak formation at the high of the week. So now we have peak formation low, peak formation high. This has been a beautiful pump and dump template as of this week. Like I said, this was the first red day over here on Wednesday. We got a sell high opportunity today in the New York session. I see you use Owanda. No, I don't use Owanda. I just use their charts because it works with my indicator. I don't use Owanda. I don't use Forex.com. I use Tradeovate. That's it. No, I'm not an advocate for Tradeovate. I'm not an affiliate or anything like that. That's just the first futures broker that I found, and I've had some pretty good reviews. So, all right. So as of today on Thursday, we had a peak formation at the high of the week. We had a peak formation down here at the low of the week. And we have traded back down into or towards the opening range high. This was the initial balance high. So we're essentially just back down on the inside of opening range and initial balance. All right, this was opening range initial balance. And that's where we're at. Okay. So off of this peak formation high, I am going to do my best to just gauge where we're at within the down cycle. Peak formation at the high of the week. They've came down and put in peak consolidation, level 1. They broke and went lower. This is maybe consolidation, level 2. We got this pin down here, so maybe we're going to come down into level 3. I don't know. As far as actual trading setups go, I genuinely could not tell you at this point in time. At this point, they're just wicking back and forth. Tomorrow we have late news. We've had some really good moves in the beginning of the week, and we've had some pretty good moves midweek reversal. Also today on Thursday. I'm going to be pretty conservative tomorrow on Friday. Not to say that this can't do something, but right now, I don't really see much. I've got 1 day of breakouts back down to the downside. 2 levels of drop. Things are getting pretty consolidated and a little bit crazy. That's it. That's all I've got. I really don't have it. I'm sitting here staring at it, and I'm staring at it for too long because I don't know, which means I need to move on. Let's go to US 30. Now, this looks a little bit different, and I kind of like it a bit more. Dow was smooth. Jerry, I totally agree with that. That's why I chose this pair, because this is, man, I got to tell you, it really frustrates me. When you all send me comments like, oh, that looked like 2 pushes instead of 3, or that was 4 instead of 3. Boy, man, y'all, I get it. I trust me, I get it. The pushes are subjective to an extent. But if I have 3 pushes and it keeps going, they're either going to extend it 1 or 2 levels, or I can expect 2 to 3 more days of rise. If they extended another level, they might just extend it 1 more level. It's not supposed to be so objective that I look at it and say, yes, 110%. Every single time it's 3 pushes, that's perfect. Good. Not always, but if the pattern is more clear like this, like I can't think of any pattern that is any more clear. There's probably something out there for sure, but that is a very obvious W. Peak formation. This is the low of the week. There is nothing subjective about that. They've come up and pulled back 1 time. They've came up and pulled back a 2nd time, and then they've came up a 3rd time now. So push 1, push 2, push 3 to the high. Draw your pen. I want to sell high on the next day in level 3. That's the kind of the mindset. If it doesn't set up for the short from up here, then again, that's why I'm so kind of laxy-daisy when I'm like, oh, it's 3 levels, but if they go vertical tomorrow, then whatever. But instead, it trades back up into the peak formation from the previous day's high, and sets up perfect. And it's a perfect 3-level stair step. So that's the pair that I'm going to trade. That's the pair that I'm going to choose. It's good. So, man, what have I done? Go back. So 3 levels up. This is very obviously a first red day, right? We were on the front side of a move. Can it go up tomorrow? Sure. Will it go up tomorrow? I have no idea. But what I will tell you is this is a pretty big drop. And that's about it. That's about all I know. At this point, there's a pretty big drop. They've came down once. They've came down twice. I know nothing else. All I know is this is, by textbook definition, a first red day. All right, we've had 3 days of rise, so we're up high. We had a day that has attempted to trade higher first and failed, and then closed below the opening price. That is a first red day. So I am going to mark off my end-of-day consolidation. I'm going to come to the screen tomorrow. I'm going to frame my day, and I'm going to look for a sell-high opportunity, unless we get something like gold, which I'm about to go over here in a second, because I think this is a very, very important template for you all to understand, because it can be very confusing. Notice how this was a first red day on gold right here, but then the next day went vertical. Why? Why would that happen? They've came out of a peak formation at the high of the week. They've brought it down three drops, right? This is a 1-hour chart. 3 drops, which obviously could mean absolutely nothing. Sorry about that. Those 3 levels of drop could mean absolutely nothing, but the next day, look at what Asia and London do, and just prior to the New York session, goes vertical, breaks out. Market only does 3 things: breakout, pullback, trend. So now they've trended back up. So this is actually something that I was talking about in the webinar this week. We were watching this, and I said, hey, this looks like a parabolic pattern. Be careful, because even though yesterday was a first red day, this could turn into a pause day, and we might be looking for the trade on the following day. Sure enough, they pulled back. 3 levels of going back up. And then there is a peak formation at the high of today. After first red day from Tuesday, we're up high. There was a inside day yesterday on Wednesday. And then There is a sell high opportunity in Asia. They've dropped it down. Opening range for the day, breakout. Initial balance for the day, breakout. And then there was a sell high opportunity in the New York session as well, which somebody from the webinar caught today, which is pretty cool. Always handy what group you're dropping them in. Yeah. Can we see your watch list on the screen? Yeah, absolutely. OB. My bad. I thought it was up there. I was wrong. Okay, so I need to go back to US 30. What was I looking for? First red day. Tomorrow, I'm looking to sell high. What does sell high mean? I want to sell above closing price. I want to sell at closing price. I want to sell at previous day's high. Previous day's high is a little bit far away, so probably not that one. I want to sell maybe above the Asian range. I want to sell at the high of the session. Any of those would be acceptable to me. I'm going to look at the pattern tomorrow. I'm going to gauge what does Asia London do, and then I'm going to make a decision. And I'm going to make sure that we don't have a repeat of gold where it comes down just like this, kind of like it did today, a little bit, and then goes vertical tomorrow and catches me off guard. No, I'm going to look at Asia London and we're going to make a decision. I'm going to make a decision. All right. So I'm going to put this back up here. That was my way of trying to explain to you all the different scenarios that could happen tomorrow. This could absolutely go vertical all day tomorrow and do something like gold did. Got to watch out for that. But at the same time, we could get a sell high opportunity, maybe from up here or maybe even from, one of these other levels, wherever the volume could be caught. But regardless, I'm going to try and sell high. All right, so gold. Like I said, this is a really great template because we had a 3 days of rise. Is actually way more than that, right? This is like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we had 7 days of rise, a half Batman, and a very convincing rectangle up top. High of week on Monday, breaks down, first red day. Good stuff. I'm going to look to sell high the next day, except the day was not framed properly. And in fact, if you line this up, push 1 and 2 and 3, and you know me, I like to say push 2 gets everybody's attention, push 3 traps them at the worst possible place. So push 2 got everybody to start shorting, push 3 got everybody to start shorting in the wrong place, the worst possible place. If I short this candle and then it goes vertical, they've just locked in all of these people down low. They're going to go back and stop them out. So it comes back up, stops out that profitable trade, the profitable short trade from, from over here and from Tuesday. Goes back into consolidation to end the day. Peak formation high, up, down, up, 1, 2, 3, engulfment, and then the W or the M at the high of the day gets engulfed. So peak formation high, and then now we have a drop back down. So Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, what could happen tomorrow based off of all that stuff I just said? I actually have no idea. We're in a range for the week. This is the low of the current week right now. And coming off this peak high today, we've came down once, twice, and 3 times. All right, so I'm just going to mark off. This was not an inside day. This was not a first red day. But we are up high. Do I really want to go long? Probably not. Where's the opening price for this week? Is that it? Cool. Gold, I'm not really too sure. And I'm not going to sit here and try and guess. So what will I do tomorrow to try and figure out what's going to happen on gold? It's not about trying to figure out what's going to happen. These are my levels. That's the low of the current week. That was my initial balance low right here. This is the high of Wednesday over here. That's fine. This is the high and the low of the week. That's my opening range low over there. Those are the levels. I don't really have anything else. This is all just on the inside. Okay, so the high of the previous week also has not been triggered. Maybe this is going to be an inside week. Maybe I should just ignore this tomorrow. Maybe. I don't know. So pound dollar. This is actually a really beautiful weekly template as well. If you know me, I'm kind of a charting nerd for whatever reason. Like math and all that stuff has never been my thing. But whatever reason, the candlesticks on the chart, just when it looks a certain way, boy, does it make you happy. So let's see. We've got 3 days of breakouts from last week. Peak formation down low. Sort of 3 levels back up. Cool. Obviously overextended. We've got lots of days of breakouts. The previous day's low has not been triggered. Then it comes up and gives us a half Batman. There's the ear. there's the head, there's the nose, and the drop. So that is a peak formation at the high of the week, starting on Friday, ending on Monday, and that gave us the first move down. And then from there, we came down in a very nice, very clean stair step down to the low of Tuesday. Awesome. Now on Wednesday, there was a inside day. So essentially, if you're trying to tell the story of what has happened throughout the week, because that is my purpose of doing these YouTube videos, is to try and really get you all to be capable of looking from left to right and read it like a book. Hey, last week there was a peak formation at the high of the week. Coming into the beginning of this week, there was 3 levels of drop, and then they put in a new peak formation. So we have a peak formation at the high of the week now, and we have a peak formation at the low of the week. And you can see that they've came up into level 1, peak formation low, level 2, stair step, peak formation, level 3. And then the process has repeated once again. Peak formation at the high of the week, peak formation at the low of the week, inside day. They traded back up to the high of the inside bar in 3 levels or 3 pushes. And whenever the high of that inside bar gets triggered, where are those people's stops? So if I traded this as a inside bar trader and I'm looking for the breakout and I saw them break out of the previous day's high outside of a previous inside bar and I've just gone long, I'm going to put my stop at the low, just like any retail trader would. So this was nice. First red day. Then we had a first red day trade on Tuesday. Inside day, traded back up into the high, breakout pullback. And then a peak formation at the high of today for the move down. That peak formation cannot be any more clear. That is the best or one of the best peak formations you will ever see. Really perfect. M. Man, I need to go back to kindergarten. We need to review M's and W's. I keep doing this. It's like I'm dyslexic or something with letters. All right, so we had this big run up here, and then the middle structure, then they traded back up at, and then they engulfed it back down. So that is a very clear peak formation. That was 8:30 right there, and you can see this is a breakout, fake out candle on a 15-minute chart. If we go down to a 1-minute time frame, trying to figure out where to get in, since we had to wait till after the news, this was right there, 8:30. 8:30 opened up, came down. Down, up, down. Then they engulfed and made a run. Push 1. Then they paused. Then they ran it again. Push 2. Then they paused. And then they hit it again. Push 3. This was the engulfment of an M. That was your entry. There's the pin hammer. There's the engulfment of 8:30's time. And there's the pin hammer again. And then there's plenty of follow through after that. So if you would have got in here, this is at a minimum, I think at least a 25 pip move. Probably more. Okay, yeah. Never mind. That's more by a lot. 54 plus. Nice. Anybody take this today on GBP USD? And if you did take it today, did you see it similarly to the way that I just explained it? All right. Oh, I'm going to skip those ads for you all. Just kidding. There we go. So we've had 3 levels back up. Big push back down. ECOW. Good stuff. Back down to the low of the week. Do I see anything for tomorrow? No. I actually have no idea. All right. We're at the low of the week. That's all I know. Let's see. 1 day of breakouts. 2 day. Oh, they had previous day's high. So basically just back down at the low of the week. So that's my level to watch. Do I have 3 pushes outside of the opening range? 1? No. Okay. Do I have really any sort of setup that I can look for tomorrow? I don't know. All right. Sorry. I just got quiet. I felt really weird to do that on stream, but I just want to make sure I'm not going to miss anything. All I can tell you is we're at the low of the week. We had a failed breakout of Wednesday's high. Now we're back down at the low of the week. That's really all I can do. I'm going to put this up here. All right. US dollar Swiss. What a pretty pattern. All right. This is another one of those where it just made me kind of giddy. All right. little childish, if you will. Peak formation from up at the high of 2 weeks ago, also at the beginning of last week. So kind of in the middle, I guess, of last week, where they have came back down. Notice how they've come out of this, coming off this peaks here, and got a really big drive down, and then they came down. This is not an exact science. Everybody, 1, 2, we've got at least 3 down. I know at least one person is be like, but Cameron, that looks like 5 or 7 or 10 pushes or whatever. It doesn't matter. All right, we've got at least 3 legs down. This is all in hindsight. So I can see the 3 legs down in hindsight, and the fact that on Friday they put in a peak formation right there. All right, so we have a peak formation at the beginning of this week that we have traded down into. And then it has gone up just like this. So push 1. Now we're back into consolidation. But the reality is this is a very large level 3 sort of behavior. Ascending triangle after 3 levels of drop over the course of 2 to 3 days. And then today was the breakout and the pullback. You can see how it pulled back 1, 2, 3 to the low. The entry on this was beautiful as well. If you go down to the 15-minute chart, one of the really good things or cool things you can do to catch M's and W's on the 15-minute chart is once you get a middle structure, you get a down candle, and then you get a middle structure. So we've had a large run down. I'm looking for a buy low opportunity. I get a middle structure. I can draw this line here. I'm going to wait for them to, after I get this middle structure, trade back down into that level. And which they do. So this huge run up right here was a break-in structure, which is also part of my entry criteria. Then they put in peaks up top, and you can see the levels of drop. Push 1, candles get small. Big drive into the low, pause, big drive into the low, and then I need a W to get in. It couldn't be any more perfect than that. Obviously, I did not take this trade. I took the US 30, but I do think this was a really good opportunity as well. This is after the news in the first hour. But this is definitely a parabolic pattern. You can see that the way this is breaking out and expanding. Okay, so we got 1, 2, 3 full expansions. It's pretty good. Okay, so, but as of for tomorrow, do I have 3 pushes outside of the opening range? This was the opening range, and then this was our first day, and we've blown off. So, no, I do not. Do I want to counter trend this? Probably not. Do I really want to do anything on this? Probably not. So I think that I'm just going to leave this alone as well. CAD, beautiful trade. I'm going to be completely honest. I didn't really know what to do on this today. This is one of the ones that I actually just designated as do not trade. But it was a very nice rectangle down low. Again, we're at the low of the current week, which is good. Do I really want to sell at the low of the week? Probably not. I want to buy at the low of the week. I want to sell at the high of the week, unless we have an opening range breakout, which we did not. This is push 1 and 2 and 3, higher high on the inside, and then the 3 drives back down into the low. You can see the difference in the candles. Peak formation low, peak formation high. They trade back down into the low. One big candle, a pause candle, a big candle, a pause candle, and then a big candle. This is also down, up, down, and then engulfment. Again, you can use that same trick. If you're trying to catch M's and W's on a 15-minute chart, so like this huge down candle, once I get a middle structure, so there was really no middle structure here, comes back down. Then I get a middle structure immediately after. We're at the low of the day. That's good. So I could draw that. Now we're also in our session. So we got the middle structure. I draw my line. I wait for them to trade back down into that and look at my entry criteria, which you can do just like this. Awesome. So we're making lower lows and lower highs. Then they spike up off the news and make a higher high. So we had a consolidation, spike the high, get everybody to go in long early. Then the market comes back down in what appears to be a burst, and then a final burst. Really not a great W, if I'm being honest, but the engulfment and then this little pin hammer and then the engulfment. So I probably would have had to take this somewhere in here. Regardless, still a pretty good, clean setup. I think this is after 8:30 as well. Yes, it is. Okay, so 8:30 was the spike. That was the break-in structure. Then the 3 pushes back down into the low to complete that W pattern on the 15-minute chart. And then, of course, the range expansion was to follow. Holy cow. That thing scooted. Nice. But again, as for tomorrow, do I have any clue what to look for? Is this a first green day? Who thinks this is first green day? Can I explain the first bounce after the news? Yes, I can. All right. We're on the 1 hour. That is a big peak at the low of the current week. I'm going to count this. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to say, yes, this is a... Probably should put the right thing. This is a... I'm losing my mind. One brain cell at a time, I swear. All right, so I'm going to say yes, first green day. Why? We've had a lot of volume down low. Looks like 3 levels of drop, and then a peak formation now. This could have just been a very large level 1. Now we're up into 2. All right, so I am going to look for a buy low opportunity tomorrow. This could be a range expansion, supposedly, of the opening range for this week. We might be in opening range breakout mode. The only thing I don't like is the fact that they ran this into the close. And then they also, and tomorrow's also Friday. But based off of this, the fact that we have a peak formation at low of the week, this is a W down low. I wouldn't be surprised if they consolidated and then rolled over tomorrow. So what am I going to be careful of? What scenario do I not want to happen? I do not want to see them break down and start doing this all day long. That is going to be very frustrating. I don't want to do that. I would like a very well-defined, clean and clear range and say, hey, breakout, we're allowed to pull back to about this area. That's fine. If I can get like an Asian range right here and a stop hunt below that, that would be fine. Opening price, closing price for yesterday, below that, that's fine. But what I don't want to see is them trapping volume at the high of the current week after what I think to be first green day, and then it just roll over, all right? Because that would be no bueno. And they've ran this into the close. That's always cause for concern. Maybe drop to Wednesday's high. That's pretty far, but yeah. It's just worried. I'm worried because it's Friday, right? They like to go back for the money, but also there's a lot of money probably sitting up top too. So I don't know. We'll see tomorrow. If it's a buy low, then good. If it's not, then I'll just ignore it. Euro JPY. Josh, good to have you here. Thanks for tuning in. How many we got in here right now? About 53. Okay. Pretty good. If I could just get you all real quick. It's the only free thing in this world, probably. If you could just hit that like button. Really does help. I appreciate it. All of you, wise in the chat, might blow this stream up a little bit more if you do that. And I greatly appreciate it. So let's go on to Euro JPY. Peak formation at the beginning of this week. That was a first green day on Tuesday. And then we had the explosion, Asia-London, on Wednesday. So this is like 1 and then 2. And now we have what seems to be an inside day. That's what it is. All right. I was actually looking for a sell high on this today. And I was expecting it to go to previous day's high. And it didn't. So I've either miscounted or we've got one more to go back up. But this is a lot of volume caught at the high of the week, so I don't know. All right, what do we think? Should we count this as a first red day? Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I think I'm going to count this first red day. And similar, so I'm having a little bit of trouble coming into this Friday for whatever reason. We got breakouts, 2 breakouts, and then 1 push outside of the opening range, 2 pushes outside of the opening range. 2 2 days of higher close, and then now we have a day that's closed down below the open. So, like, by definition, we've got a large pumping day, a day that's gone into consolidation, a peaked out at the high first, and then closed. This could be considered a first red day by all means. But also, like, we didn't really have the third level or the third push, which is fine. Like, this could be front side and then tomorrow's backside. What I'm going to be very cautious of is that this is not a first red day trap. The way that this weekly template, you know, if it confirms first red day, then great. If not, I'm going to move on. But by definition, this is a first red day and also an inside day. They have not triggered previous day's high or previous day's low. They made a peak formation high first and then closed below the opening price. Euro JPY will still go up. That's what I'm saying, Collins. I'm going to be very cautious that does not happen. But again, like I said, by textbook definition, it is first red day. Is this, what are we doing large-wise? We triggered previous week's low at the beginning of the week. Okay. This was the front side. We transitioned. Yep, I'm sitting here trying to guess, and that means that I'm going to move on. Euro USD, beautiful. Beautiful. Why is it beautiful? Well, we had peak formation down at the low of the current week. Drop 1, drop 2, drop 3, peak formation low on a Tuesday, and a failed breakout at the low of the week. Failed breakouts can often lead to large moves. Push 1, push 2, push 3 to the high. Then we got a Batman formation today. Between yesterday and today at the high of the current week. This was the high of Monday. And that is level 3, peak formation high, drops it down a level, goes back into consolidation. And somebody from the mentorship also took this as well. They saw this on a 1-hour chart, and they did exactly as I showed them about drawing this line like this. And then got in and held this all the way down until previous day's low, which actually, no, it wasn't previous day's low. They held it until the low of Tuesday. That's what they said. If they're in here right now, please correct me if I'm wrong. I think it was either the low of Tuesday. Yeah, so it was this one right here. They held it for the low of Tuesday, which I almost jumped out of my chair because that is a fantastic trade. Good stuff. So obviously you could see the M after all of this other analysis, and they were able to read exactly based off of our analysis in the morning and say, hey, this is an M. I'm going to get in. And then they wrote it all the way down to the low of Tuesday. So fantastic. Congratulations to them. That is really beautiful. Again, thumbnail title, level 3 trades, right? Bread and butter. Those are the ones that you want to look for. If you just get one of those a week, those are the ones that will not come back. All right. These are the ones that we're looking for. Level 3 trades. All right. High of week, low of week, level 3 trades. Those are the best ones. All right. Okay, but what does that leave us for tomorrow? Opening range, initial balance. We have really broke out now. Again. Now, you'll have to forgive me because I'm not going to sit here and basically tell you all, hey, I'm not here to be the smartest one on YouTube, all right? If it doesn't jump out at me, like, here's the thing. When Thursday is the mover, Friday scares me. I'm being completely honest with you because this could either turn into a large dump. They leave all of this consolidation up here and it keeps going. Or it goes down and starts chopping back and forth for Friday. Maybe it reverses. I don't know. But when Thursday is the mover, kind of statistically with myself, I have a problem with Fridays, especially if I didn't take the trade on Thursday. I feel a little bit jumpy on Friday because I'm chasing. I don't want to chase. I want to find setups. So if I notice that Thursday was the move, I love Fridays, but not when Thursday was the mover. There's been great trades all week long, and I don't want to be wrong on a Friday and blow it all out, especially when there's news at 10. It'd just be silly. I probably won't even trade tomorrow. I'll probably look at the market and see what it's doing, and then I'm going to move on. Is options expiration tomorrow? I actually have no idea. Friday will be choppy. It might be. This big move down. What is that silly saying? Big drop, expect to chop, or something like that. I don't remember what that saying is, but it's funny. US dollar, Japanese yen. Boy. All right, this one's moving a little bit. So let's take a look at this one. Peak formation at the low of the current week, and that has resulted in what appears to be one big move up. This was all level 1 consolidation, and now maybe we are moving up into the second. Let's see, 1, 2, and 3. So day 1, 2, and 3. Actually, this was day 1. Day 1, day 2, day 3. Day 3 was an inside day. Move it over to the next day. This was a pause day. Buy low opportunity. From level 1, do not counter trend level 1 consolidations. Going to level 2. Let's see. One day of breakouts, 2 days of breakouts, one push outside the open. Yeah, I don't have anything on this either. I'm not going to guess, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, where does that leave us? So I wanted to give you all at least the trades from like this week. So if you watch this video, you can actually get some kind of value because I honestly, I looked at the other pairs before coming into doing the stream. And I saw that a lot of really big moves happened today. So what does that leave me for tomorrow? I think oil might be a good candidate. This one, man, real 50-50. I'm honestly not sure. US 30, first red day, maybe. Sell high, that might be a candidate. Euro JPY, I have a bad feeling. NASDAQ, that looks gross. Gold, I honestly have no idea. Pound dollar, I have no idea. US Swiss, I want more information. I have no idea. Euro USD, same thing. US dollar, Japanese yen, I'm not really seeing the setups. I'm just seeing movement. The only one that I actually have some sort of decent idea of what to look for would definitely be oil at this point. So I'll probably watch oil tomorrow. I just narrowed it down for myself before the day even started. All right, I'm going to watch oil. I might watch US 30. US dollar, Japanese yen, looking for buy low, maybe. Like level 1 consolidation, level 2. Maybe we're looking for them to pull back and I don't know. But I just feel like I'm guessing too much. So I think oil is going to be good. I hope that you all have gained some kind of value from the stream. Just me talking about the profitable trades that did happen today. Talk about my trade that I took. Hopefully that might be a lesson to all of you that, hey, you know, don't lift your stops too early. Have a really good solid plan for where to place your stop, even if it's going into profit. Don't do it too early. All right, ladies and gentlemen, does anybody have any questions, comments, concerns? I have a question. When trading high of week, low of week trade, do you look at previous week high and low or current week high and low or both? Hey, so if you're at the high of the current week, they're not always going to trigger previous week's high. They're not always going to trigger previous week's low, but I would certainly prefer that they did. Okay? Especially if, for example, like they've came off a peak formation, high of week, and they've came down 3 levels, and they trigger previous week's low at the beginning of a week in level 3. Like it kind of makes sense, right? So it's a preference for sure. If they trigger previous week's low in level 3 and you get a first green day, good stuff. Like I took this trade on Tuesday, low of day. Low of day on Tuesday. Looking for rise to level 2. That's Monday. This is Tuesday. That W cannot be any more obvious, right? They came down, peak formation low, made a higher high, pulled back in 3 pushes, gave me a W, and I got in. But this was after first green day, and they had triggered previous week's low. And in level 3, which is good. Collins, did that answer your question? Boy, my viewers just dropped off the map. That is wild. Oh, good, though. Yeah, so go easy on Friday. So, normally Friday's the day, right? Normally Friday, first bounce, ECAL, absolutely. Hey, so normally Friday is the day, right? I'm looking for parabolic trend trades or parabolic reversals on Friday. But the thing is, when they move it up a day, so like Thursday was the parabolic day, I'm telling you, I'm very cautious on Friday. Especially if I take a really good trade on Thursday. There's no reason to mess it up on Friday. Hey, so the first bounce trade. Number one, I built a thesis. My whole thesis is already built. I'm looking for a sell high or a buy low. That's it. Now, you can imagine that if you got a consolidation and the markets came back down 3 pushes, something like this, and your thesis is playing out, so maybe you get like an M or a W. Let's say that the news goes vertical like this. Okay. Now, this is a 15-minute chart. This is one option or one thing that could happen. Maybe this is the break-in structure, and they need to do 3 pushes back down before you can get in. That happened on a lot of pairs today. So, like US Swiss, I kind of already showed you all this, but down on a lower time frame, 1-minute chart, 8:30 opened up, spiked the high, broke structure to the upside. That was the news, but then they had to pull back in 3 pushes after the news for you to get first bounce. However, sometimes they will have already kind of done that. They built a box. They built a range. And then the news goes vertical, and you get a big 15-minute bar doing something like this. All right? So you can imagine on the news, initially, this was the bar. But as the news pulls back, so imagine 5, 7 minutes after the news, it may have pulled back, and that bar might look like this. Oh, gosh, look at that huge rejection wick. Oh, no. What is happening? But on the 1-minute chart, it's come up, pulled back, maybe 1 minute and 2 minutes, 3 minutes or 4, 5 minutes, 6 minutes, 7 minutes after the news, maybe 14 minutes after the news. 14 minutes after the news would put you 1 minute before a new 15-minute bar. And then all of a sudden, my huge rejection wick right at the end of a 15-minute bar goes back to being a full candle. And I'm already in. I was in down over here, up over here, whatever. And then this next candle will open up. Or could open up, right? And it should just keep going, right? Another 50, 75 pips, something like that. If it doesn't do that and goes back up and rolls over, get out. This is meant to be a momentum style of trade. It is supposed to just go. If you're wrong, they're going to go back and hit the high and go back into consolidation. And that means I close the trade. This is a momentum trade. This is I get in, it goes vertical, it goes 50 to 75 pips like that. If it gets back to the high end struggles, I get out. Did that answer your question? All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's been a great stream. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you all for the participation. I'm sorry that I don't have too much more for you as far as analysis goes tomorrow, but I'm not going to sit here and just make stuff up for you all. If I don't see anything, I'm genuinely going to tell you I don't see anything, but I will try to explain the trades that have happened throughout the week and kind of the mindset coming into this current Friday with that late news later in the session, and also having plenty of great moves already throughout the rest of this week. You'll have a great rest of your week. Great rest of your weekend. If you would like to, shameless plug, sign up for the webinar. I do have some spots left, and that next one begins on the 25th of March. So if you would like to attend that, please let me know. Link to Discord's down below. Just shoot me a message. We will set it up. You have a great rest of your day, great rest of your weekend, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.